In today's video, we'll look at the developers of Yakuza teasing a new project and an update on Shin Yakuza, a game that a lot of you guys might not even know they're working on. All of the attention around the Yakuza team has been around Judgment, however, they're working on another game alongside that. Judgment was just released in Japan, it'll be coming stateside in 2019, but Shin Yakuza is another project they're hard at work at. Also, we've got some major news on various fighting games. Mortal Kombat 11's Premium Edition has been detailed, we've got a price for that and what it's gonna come with. And you remember that little game Street Fighter X Tekken? Well, that game was supposed to spawn a Tekken X Street Fighter. So what is the status of that game? Well, we finally got some sort of an update, even though we still don't really know if the game is ever gonna come to fruition. Also, Kingdom Hearts 3's file size for the PlayStation 4 has been officially confirmed, so I want to go over that. Battlefield 5 sales are obviously disappointing, but an analyst goes over why it's actually so disappointing, so I want to take a look at what he said. Also, the PlayStation Classic device released earlier this month, and it's already seeing a significant discount, so we'll go over that at the end of this video. First up, there's a lot of attention around the Yakuza team right now because Project Judgment just saw its release over in Japan. It was confirmed that that game will be coming stateside in 2019, but they are also teasing some other games. Specifically, Shin Yakuza is still in the works, and that's supposed to actually be a continuation from the Yakuza games, albeit with a new protagonist. And then, of course, there's Yakuza Online, but they are also teasing a brand new title alongside that. I think right now, with Judgment just being released, Shin Yakuza still being in the works, and by the way, again, that's a new mainline Yakuza title for consoles and featuring a new protagonist in Ichiban Kasuga. The Yakuza team has a lot on their plate right now, but I feel like as far as the Western audience goes, there's more attention on them than ever because of the Yakuza franchise doing so well over stateside. As far as a more niche Japanese franchise like that is gonna do, also with the fact that Kiwami was just a Plus title, it does seem like there's a little bit of attention, and I think Judgment is gonna win a lot of people over as well, especially having an English dub voiceover. There's a lot of exciting things around the Yakuza team, not only with Yakuza, but again with Judgment, and hopefully Sega's push with the localization of those games continue, but we do know the Yakuza team is hard at work on a variety of different projects. Moving on from that, there's a lot of attention surrounding Mortal Kombat 11 right now. That game was just announced at the Video Game Awards, and it's going to see a release rather soon in April of next year. And there was actually a Steam listing for the Mortal Kombat 11 Premium Edition. It's priced at $99.99, and it's going to give you a couple bonuses. Namely, of course, it'll come with the main game, but it'll also come with the Combat Pack. So what does the Combat Pack include? Well, it's essentially a season pass. It's 6 new DLC playable characters, 1 week early access to DLC characters, 7 skins, and 7 sets of gear. So all in-game items. I'm not a big fan of the fact that even before the game is released, inherently the complete version of the game's price is higher than $59.99. I complain about that with Marvel's Spider-Man, even though that game turned out to be one of my favorites of 2018. I'm still not pleased with the idea of season passes, DLCs, and it seems like it's just getting more and more expensive. It used to be a season pass would be $14.99 or $19.99, but we're having the $24.99 season passes, the $29.99 season passes, and in this case, it's $40 more expensive from the base game. I just think that's rather expensive, and who knows how the Combat Pack is going to be priced separately, because if you pick up this version, you're paying $100, but you would think you would get a little bit of a discount, so I'm not a big fan of that. I'm sure NetherRealm is going to knock it out of the park with this game, especially if Mortal Kombat 10 was any indication. That game was terrific. It's just that we're getting so much DLC, and a lot of that DLC is coming from fighting games. These fighting games are just trying to stay monetized as long as possible. We saw it with Dragon Ball FighterZ, and we're pretty much seeing it with every fighting game that comes out, so that's unfortunate. But again, MK11 will be dropping April 23rd, 2019. Moving on from that, a fighting game that's been in flux for a very long time. We thought we were gonna get a Tekken X Street Fighter. Remember, Street Fighter X Tekken was already released. That came out on last-gen platforms. That followed a playstyle similar to the Street Fighter games, but Tekken X Street Fighter was gonna be the same crossover, however, play more like a Tekken game. In a live stream for Kuro Kuro over on Twitch, series producer Katsuhiro Harada talked about Tekken X Street Fighter, and he said the game hasn't been canceled, but it's in a pending stage, and the development is roughly 30% complete on it, so it's not even close to being done. I honestly don't know if this game is ever going to see the light of day, because Street Fighter X Tekken came out so many years ago, and Tekken X Street Fighter was originally announced back in 2010, so obviously it's still in very early phases. 30% development means that even if this game does have work done on it, it's not going to come out for a couple of years, if ever, so that is unfortunate. Hopefully at some point we do have it see the light of day. Moving on from that, Kingdom Hearts 3 is of course releasing on January 29th. It is one of the most anticipated, if not the most anticipated game of early 2019. And if you're curious as how much storage you're going to need to download the game, well, it looks to be roughly 40 gigabytes as the minimum, as that was listed on the box art itself. The Xbox Live Store had a separate listing, but this is for the physical copy of the game, which sometimes is a little bit different. And do note that Kingdom Hearts 3 early copies were leaked, so do plan on seeing some spoilers. Try to stay away from them if you're excited for this game for a story standpoint, and I think the long time longtime Kingdom Hearts fans are excited for the story of this game. But Tetsuya Nomura did note that a day one update for the game would add an epilogue and a secret movie, so even the early copies don't have that, so we won't have that spoiled to us. But best bet is just to stay away from it altogether for now. Know that you'll need 40 gigabytes of free hard drive space if you're planning on picking the game up on the PlayStation 4. Moving on from that, Battlefield 5 was obviously one of the major colossal disasters as far as gaming goes. Fallout 76 was another big disaster. Those two major franchises really had a big blunder this year, and with Battlefield 5, I think it's obvious why this game didn't do all too well, but Seeking Alpha has a report from an analyst, John Miller, who went over some of the reasons this game didn't do all too well. First of all, the consumer backlash as a less authentic portrayal of World War II, the limited nature of Battlefield 5's single-player campaign at launch, unimplemented cooperative missions, and the delay for the Battle Royale mode frustrated players. I really don't think that's a big reason, a Battle Royale mode for Battlefield being delayed. Sure, some people would have enjoyed a Battle Royale component, but it's not like longtime Battlefield fans were going into BF5 disappointed with the fact that there was going to be no Battle Royale mode, and that is the audience you lost. You lost the existing Battlefield players, and that is what's troubling. Not having a Battle Royale mode isn't going to push existing BF players away. The actual backlash from players is absolutely evident. However, you do have to know that while this game, as far as commercial numbers at this point, isn't doing all too well, now in 2018 more than ever there is a bigger emphasis on digital sales. However, I don't think the digital sales are going to remedy that of the physical sales not being all too great. I think it's also safe to say that this is one of the biggest disappointments of an EA game release ever. It's up there with a game like Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I would say with Battlefield 5 it's an even bigger disappointment because this is a franchise that just 2 years ago, it did very well with a release like Battlefield 1. So just in the span of 2 years, you've done almost irreparable damage to a franchise like Battlefield, one of the top franchises in all of gaming. Go back to releases like BF3, BF4, BF1. Those games were highly anticipated releases, and now with Battlefield 5, they are in damage control mode, and it'll be interesting to see how the future of the Battlefield franchise looks. They've got a lot of work to do. I would just wrap it up with BF5, take this one as a loss, and we'll see how they go with BF6. Obviously, you can't just abandon the game. There are people that drop their hard-earned money on the game, but to have that expectation that the ship is going to turn around with Battlefield 5 as a game, I just don't think that's going to happen.
We have now taken objective Beta. Objective Friedrich.
Granate für Sie! Beweise, Soldat! Respekt, Feuer! Ergebnis Feuer!
And lastly, if you guys had any interest in the PlayStation Classic console, it's already seeing a significant discount over at Amazon. Down from its initial $100 price point, it is available for $70 flat. And if you guys are unaware, this is very similar to the Nintendo Classic consoles. It comes with 20 preloaded games, including Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. It is considerably smaller than the original PlayStation, and to get 20 games for $70, it's not all too bad, but evidently it does have its issues. And even if you're trying to play these old PlayStation 1 games, emulation is a thing, but we're not going to be the advocates for that, so I'll just leave it at that. $70 for the PlayStation Classic console. We'll leave a link to that in the description box down below. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, the Yakuza developers are teasing new project. Shin Yakuza is still coming, and that looks to be their next major release after Judgment. Judgment is scheduled to come in the West in 2019. Mortal Kombat 11's Premium Edition is a whopping $99.99. Just think that's a little bit too high of a price point. If it was like $79.99, that would be one thing, but $100 is just super expensive. Tekken X Street Fighter doesn't seem to be making a lot of progress. It's roughly 30% complete, and it's in a pending stage. Kingdom Hearts 3 is looking to require a 40 gigabyte install. Battlefield 5 obviously not doing all too well, and I outlined some of those reasons. And if you want the PlayStation Classic console, you can get it right now for $70. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.